Okay, there we are. Hi everyone, Venividivici here. This is going to be another match of the PK Clan tournament. I already told you guys this was coming up. It is Silento versus Shmras. It's probably going to be a very nice match to see. It's also going to be exciting in this group who will go through in the first and second place, because we currently have Shmras, Fluky and Silento, both all three in fact good players. It looks like Shmras is gonna take first place, but then Silento and Fluky are still duking it out for the second place. That match between Silento and Fluky will be later on this afternoon, perhaps in the evening, not sure. I think it was in the afternoon. And of course there will be other matches coming up as well, such as Granddad versus Soldier, perhaps Samwise 12 versus Heroes, and some others. Anyway, what we have here is the Great Plains, of course, still the map for the group stage, as you all know by now. It looks pretty fair to me. Both have decent mines. Both have decent hunts as well, so that's all very nice. We have Silento here playing as German and Shmras playing as Chinese. Shmras is probably known to you guys by because of the previous tournament and the previous games that I casted of him. Very good Japanese player. I haven't seen that much Chinese of him, but I think it's very nice that he goes for Chinese now rather than, for example, Iroquois. Anyway, Silento was a very good player back in the days. He was inactive for a long time and he came back, I think, a week or two ago. Also to play for this tournament and to practice a little bit. He had very good German and Russian play, so I'm very curious to see how he will do. I don't think he has practiced that much versus China, so I have to see how he will scout, adapt, and see how it goes with this matchup. We see here that 95 wood is going to be taken by the Chinese player soon. Although I'm not sure if he scouted it or that he is on the way. He hasn't scouted yet, I guess, else he would walk there straight in a straight line. So 95 wood for China. It's always very nice, of course. And so far we have pretty equal regarding their easy beaver treasures, the coin treasures. This matchup is actually one that we don't see that often. We can have, of course, the German guy going for a rush with the crossbow men and 3 Ulans. Trying to pressure the China so that he can't easily go fortress. On the other hand, the German guy can also go for a fast fortress himself, and then of course he has access to very nice shipments. Usually we see him then taking a trading post, later on that is. And the Chinese guy can of course go for a second age agenda, but he is likely to go for a fortress age as well, if he can do so. Because also China is a very strong civilization in the fortress age, and thus he has access to better shipments and units. We saw that he used the house card, that you get a free villager from both houses, from every house you have, and a town center, and that's why you also get a little bit of wood to get the second house up, so you get an extra villager as soon as the card arrives. For Germany, of course, 2 settler wagons is the standard H1 card. We see sometimes Chinese going for a rush with 300 woods, for example, or saving up the card. We also see that in some cases, but this is pretty standard and ensures you have the best economy for now. A little bit of a fight going on here, which is going to be won by Shmras, if he even named his hero Shmras. If Silento is not moving his hero, he's going to lose it. Anyway, any damage that he can do now is still good, because this hero of the Chinese guy is similar to the war chief civilizations. It's quite a lot of HP and you always want to take it out as soon as possible, so you deny scouting if you take out the hero completely, and otherwise you would be able to kill it easier in a later stage. And here you see he's walking to his town center. I think he did it very nice here. As soon as he's in town center range, he can pop in some villagers and use the town center fire to shoot down the hero. And he saved his hero now while doing like maximum damage on this hero. Shmras is aging with the Summer Palace. That means he will get 3 units from it every now and then. I'm not sure exactly what time it is. I think every 1 minute or so. And he will of course get 500 food. That's the most important thing. That 500 food enables you to rush if you want, but it's most likely being used to go fast to the Fortress Age, combined with the 700 coin shipment. 400 wood age up for German, standard stuff. The market of course being built in the meantime. This is a very nice treasure for a Chinese player to take later on, if you can. And so far we had Shmras also finding 60 XP and nothing else of major importance. One wall piece over here. Yeah, it is a tournament game, so use everything you can. Of course, it's just 5 wood, but it gives you line of sight of like this area, if I believe. So that's quite good for just 5 wood. Then you can see raids incoming and respond accordingly and get your villagers back to your safe place. Ah, I totally missed it, sorry. He's going for a rush. We see this is probably going to be a Crossbow and pike rush. I forgot to mention it, but Shmras, Silento really likes his crossbow pikeman rushes. And I think he does a pretty good job with it as well. So let's see how he's going to do with it. It can of course be used for 2 things. Either to be going like all in with the Crossbow and pike rush, or just to make some units early on and damage the Chinese, for example, destroying a house. Because if the Chinese is going to lose a house, it will hurt him a lot, because he has to gather 200 wood, or use the 700 wood shipment earlier, and otherwise he would be able to send shipments earlier, faster, because he doesn't have the house problem. You see that he's now aging, probably going to be the Confusion Academy, I can't see that yet. He used the 700 coin as you saw here before, and right now Silento should use crossbowmen on the villagers, there they go, and the pikemen and the hero should just be besieging stuff. This is all going quite standard, so nothing. It's not that Shmras is out yet. I mean, it's just standard pressure in a matchup like this. Like I said before, the rush or the fast fortress is basically one of the 2 things the German guy can do. He's probably looking for villagers with his crossbowmen. You should never siege the Wonder, by the way, in case any of you guys are thinking about it. The Wonder is not something you can take out. You have too few units for it. It's better to siege other stuff. Only if you have a real big mess you can take out the Wonder, but it keeps being built. It keeps being built automatically. He ships 8 Chuko near here, as you see. Still has 1 house left. He could trap it, perhaps. But there comes a new 2 Ulan shipment with the 700 wood, or 600 wood. I think he probably shipped 700 wood first. That means that Shmras popped out the other Minutemen to deal with the cavalry and pikemen a little bit better, and there we have his first free army of the Samuelis, anti-cavalry army, as you see, dragoons and pikemen. Meanwhile, the continuous spam of Silento stopped for a little bit. Not sure if he forgot to queue up more units or that he made other plans. We see that he hasn't shipped any villages yet, so it's only the wood car, 700, 600 wood. No 8 crossbowmen either. And now he he should have a little bit better production of 2 Rexes, in my opinion, after the first 2 rounds. I think he could have got out a little bit more units. But anyway, now he has to make up his mind what he's going to do. He can either push in more, but that's going to be very risky since the Chinese held this pretty okay so far and is aging in any minute. Or he can or he can age up himself, Silento that is, using 700 coin, perhaps taking a trading post. I really like a trading post for German, and go for a 3rd age battle. But he is not going to do that. He's going to add a stable and trying to pressure the Chinese in the 2nd age. There you see 700 wood, he definitely needs it. He needs to remake the house to be able to send more shipments. He also needs to add a barracks, and he probably will add a consulate of it as well. We see at the age up with the Confusion Academy, that means that you get 10 arquebusiers, or how you call those things? Arquebusiers. Anyway, this Chinese skirmisher, you get them for free with your age up. There's the house and the consulate going up. And right now, Silento did ship the 3 settler wagons. He's getting a little bit of gold. I'm not sure if that's for an upgrade, because it's probably too few to make a lot of Ulans. And there we have the War Academy going up for the Chinese player as well. What can be interesting, by the way, the Chinese player hasn't brought in this hunt. Of course, it's now close to the base of Silento, which is very well positioned. This hunt, I think it was in the start over here, but it's moved away. So as soon as this hunt runs out, Shmras has 2 choices. Actually, 1 choice. He has to be able to push out on the map and take the map back, so that he can gather on this hunt, for example. So if Silento is able to prevent Shmras from doing that, he could succeed in the colonial age instead of aging up himself, because if he would age up himself, he would also give the Chinese player a little bit more room for getting up his army, and thus being able to gather this to get this hunt towards town center. So if that's the thought process of Silento, then it could definitely work out. It's still going to be very hard though with the Chinese shipments that he has available. If you take a quick look at his deck, then you see that these are very strong, good pikemen, good skirmishers. Of course, Chinese units are a little bit weaker, that's why you get a few more, and they cost less as well. But still in mass and with their range, they can still be microed pretty well and do pretty good. And there, of course, you have the cavalry, especially the iron flails, yes, are very good versus crossbow men, because they do ranged, area damage. So a little bit of a standoff now. We see that Silento made like 1 or 2 more Ulans and had 1 or more from a shipment. Let's see what he plans to do. He did get the 700 coin shipment, so he's gonna age up as well. So that means that Shmras now has an option to push out, as we see him doing over here. He should definitely try to bring in this hunt. And it's going to be interesting to see what Silento is planning to do, because of course he has a good mass here, but then again these units of Shmras have more range. That means you can't just engage it, you have to really go for it if Silento wants to push out. And you see that Shmras is going to use his range optimally, shoot, run back, etc., so that you won't get damaged, but you will do damage. He aged up, of course, with the fast fortress option. That's the best decision in my opinion. I definitely would have liked to see a trading post being built during this age up instead of for other crossbow. So he would have access to more shipments in the 3rd age. He decides to go for this still. Of course, you see that he wants to have the crossbowmen target at the musketeers first, then the pikemen, and then the dragoons. Preferably in that order, because that's the order in which the units do most damage and will be most annoying to you. But then again, you should not try to follow these units whatever it takes, because if you can shoot at another unit first and do damage whenever you can. We see that he makes some units from his barracks now. He has the cannon, Chinese cannon that he's getting over here. We see that this battle is going quite good for Shmras, because he of course has access to the 3rd age units, which are just a lot better. But now Silento upgraded his Ulans, and he is able to hold this position for now. That means he can still train units from the Rex and from the stable, while soon there should be a shipment coming in from him. Actually, I think 9 Ulans would be better than 8 skirmishers, because he can train some skirmishers from the Rex, and he already killed a lot of the anti-cavalry over here. Of course, Shmras will probably ship his 9 Chengdo anytime soon, because he needs to have anti-cavalry, especially if you play versus a civilization like Germany. Still 1 Rex left over here. There you have the what I just said, the 9. No, it's not 9. Actually, crazy good number. 11 even, yes. Chengdos, which are very strong pikemen. There we have the Ulan shipment. Of course, you can raid with it, but he definitely needs to take care of this position over here. It's not something he can engage yet, so that means he should already be working on making a new Rex. Of course, if you don't have wood, guys, you can always buy 200 wood in the market if you need it really fast, because you're gathering coin anyway. It's a little bit unfortunate that he's going to lose his complete base over here. That is 2 Rexes and a stable, that's 600 wood. That's quite a loss, in fact. And if you then would take this, if you do the how you say, the calculations, he killed one house, 2 villagers, and a few units, but he lost a few units as well, and he lost his whole base. So you always have to try to think of it like that. What damage did you do? How much did you hurt yourself, and how much did you hurt your opponent? Because otherwise you would have been H3 faster, and perhaps would have been able to do a better job pushing early on in the third age rather than in the second age. But like I said, the push, the early rush from Silento, I think it could have been a little bit stronger if he kept making units a little bit longer, or at least get the few rounds out. But this is very interesting. The Chengdos are moving all the way over here, so actually those Ulans could have taken out the cannon and some skirmishers, because there were only skirmishers. Then again, I'm not sure if Silento probably hasn't played for his Chinese that much, especially since he came back. So I'm not sure if he knows from just seeing it what the exact difference is between a unit, because if you see these guys from the back here, and they are like running around, they look very similar to these ones if you have it all in one group. So same with the Iroquois civilization. I sometimes find it hard as well to distinguish between tomahawks and hyenas, because if you have a huge mass, they just look alike so much. Anyway, some raids going on here. Of course, Chinese can hide their villages in houses, but the houses won't shoot. It's just a temporary place to hide. Another raid coming in over this side. He made a new Rex. He definitely needs a lot of skirmishers, because he needs to deal with the pikemen of the Chinese. We see that the Chinese now has shipped the meteor hammers. Or he has made them. Hold on a second. I think he made this batch of army, yeah, that is the combination of iron flail and meteor hammers. With the standard Chinese cavalry army, and he shipped probably the 5 meteor hammers. This is gonna be taken out, this house. But Silento has to worry a lot, and he has 8 plus 8 Ulans is 16 Ulans over there, which he definitely needs as his town center right now. This is going to be very hard to hold for him. But then still, if he manages to take out the pikemen and the musketeers, the skirmishers, he could make a little bit better there. War wagons should be targeted on the cavalry, of course. Then he could come in with all these units now and try to flank Shmras, which he's doing now. But I think there's a little bit too much anti-cavalry left, if you ask me. He could definitely have done a better job with microing the skirmishers on the musketeers and pikemen. But it seems he is gonna barely not clean this up, because these over here are skirmishers, and this is the only anti-cavalry left. That's unfortunate, because that's probably going to be the end then, with the new pushes coming in from the Chinese. He made a second Rex, I believe. No, it's just two batches. Well, right now the German guy, I think, has sent 8 skirmishers, so what he has left is 7 skirmisher shipment, of course 3 war wagons and doppel soldiers, because he already used both his Union shipments, I believe. And you see that this rocket was working on the town center, and also these pikemen, they siege quite well. So 25 siege attack is pretty good for this quite cheap pikeman from the Chinese civilization. There we have the 7 skirmishers. His town center is really, really close, so he definitely needs to micro very hard on all these skirmishers now. While his Ulans and town center try to take out the cavalry. And the town center should also be aimed at pikemen or Ulans. He's making crossbowmen. Okay, he has no more gold to heal. Of course, I'm not sure if he scouted this one. It might be on the edge of what he scouted. This one is of course not something you can get, and this one is very, very far. Always important to scout around your base to make sure you know what resources are available and where they are located. Now we have the 9 Manchu shipment coming in from China, and that's very hard to deal with as German if you use both your skirmisher shipments, because it's very strong versus low HP cavalry like the Germans have. He's going for a crossbowman now. Of course, it's like a little bit of a desperation move, because if Shmras plays as well, he can just outrange your crossbowman, and that means you can shoot, run back, as explained before, and you won't be able to do that much damage. And there, one more shot on the town center will go down. And there we have the game. So Shmras won. Yeah, I think he played it pretty well. But if we take a closer look at what was happening in this game, I briefly explained the two options that Germany has in this matchup, in my opinion. Of course, a few variations still possible, but the main option is to rush with crossbowmen and pikemen, and the other option is to go for a fast fortress yourself with some raids from the Uhlans you get from the cards you send. Try to raid the Chinese guy a little bit and then have access to your fortress age units. Of course, then Shmras was going for a fast fortress as well, and eventually Silento decided to go for a rush. I already told that the units that he made, I think he made a mistake at some point, because what we see over here is 5 plus, wait a second, 8, no. He had his hero, of course, so he made 7 in the first batch. That could be a little bit more if you time it out well, but that's okay still. Then he made 8 in the second batch, that should definitely have been 10. And then he made 7 more, and then he stopped. And around this point he was doing decent damage, but if he would have been able to keep up some more pressure, it would have been harder for the Chinese to gather, just to get his units, his resources for the units to train in the third age, to get a new house up, etc. Also, villagers being put in a town center don't generate export. Chinese villages or any Asian civilization villages generate export, and that means if you hide them in a town center or in a house as well, I believe, they don't generate export. That means you will not have access to musketeers or anything from your consulate as soon as you otherwise would. Then again, he did a good job pressuring, but I think it should have been more. Here you see that he made more units. I think this is from the racks plus 2 Ulan from a shipment. But then comes a decision that he didn't push out anymore, but because the Chinese was aging, of course, and access to shipment. But he also decided to, for example, build a stable over here. I would definitely have made my stable over here. Not only will you hide your stable, you will also have it on a safer location. What also could have been an option is to take a trading post first, and then make a stable later on while you are aging. You will have probably access to one more shipment if you do that, especially since he used 700 and 600 wood to get the spam going. And we see that now he invested 600 wood in his base over here, and he lost his complete base. So 600 wood is definitely a big loss at that point, because you have to remake it, and that slows down, of course, your economy and the stuff you can gather. Also, unfortunate that he couldn't gather here. I think he didn't scout it, because otherwise he would have been able to make some more skirmishes and Uhlans instead of switching to crossbowmen this early. Long story short, I think the rush, the follow-up after the initial rush was not the best decision making. That's I think an important thing. And then nearest town center, it's always very hard because you have so many of these Chinese units running around. You have to be really fast to micro on them, but he could definitely have done a little bit better in microing on the pikemans and on the musketeers over here. And also, he had too many Uhlans on the map raiding. It was nice to take out the house, but eventually there were no more villagers in the house, so if he had those 8 plus 7 or 8 is 16 Uhlans together while he was fighting over here, it would have been a totally different story. And he might have been able to hold it better, especially with a little bit better micro. So that's it. First game of today. By the way, for everyone that just tuned in, or anyway tuned in recently, I streamed a lot of these games yesterday as well for the tournament. They are on my YouTube channel, which is, I will just type it for you here, youtube.com/Venividivici W. That is without the underscore. On Twitch it is with the underscore between the Vici and W. I see I made a mistake there. /Venividivici. That's it. I will be streaming more games in a little bit, maybe some team games of myself, and otherwise I will be bringing you more tournament games shortly. Oh, there we have Fluky as well, so maybe Silento vs Fluky is gonna come up.